I am live here on YouTube, and I thought I would go live because we're going to do kind of a Sunday talk thing. And yes, I am doing this straight from the iPhone, so it's going to be much easier to do live streams now than it normally is. In a way, this is going to be great because I can do streams and grow the YouTube channel a little bit more, and also giving you guys some content as well. Um, so what are we going to talk about tonight? Well, we're going to talk about um, troll users, for number one, how we can actually minimize what they can do during live streams, which we do have a very good moderator system on Twitch, and the reason why we have such good moderation on Twitch is because now it's pretty much like, I'm not only getting people in for moderation, but they're also in there as, as a way of, viewership as well. Now, some of the people that used to tune into my show don't like the show anymore, and the reason why they don't like the show anymore is because they don't know exactly how much it has actually changed, to be honest. Some people think it's like the old crappy show. Well, it's not old and it's not crappy. It's, gotten better in a way, because if you have tuned into my show on, should I say, Twitch, you probably know that we have a group of moderators now. And that group of moderators do come in periodically every show. Also, they're there to keep the chat going at any given point in time. So I can actually literally say that, while I can actually understand where the issue is, there is no need for trolls. And the reason why there's no need for trolls is because the fact that there's just no need. And Twitch does have a very strict terms of service. And that terms of service went into place on, should I say, when did it go into place? Was it February 16th? I think it was. Let me check my group page here, and I want to verify if that is actually true, or no. Actually, let me check my actual Facebook page. So I'm going to actually verify that this is like a thing that I've actually said. So let's see here. Oh, I got like 81 likes. That's really good. All right, so I'm gonna scroll down here, and it's gonna take a little bit here. Yeah, the terms of service did actually take place on the 16th of, should I say, February. As you guys probably know, there is a strict Twitch terms of service now. What they want to do is they want to cut down on the amount of bullying and harassment and name calling that is in the chat. And I totally agree with it. I totally understand where Twitch is coming from. In a way, it is beneficial of what they are actually doing. Um, and I'm all for it. And, you know, people have got to realize that trolling and harassment actually can hurt a person. It can actually scar them for life. And what they want to do is they want to make sure that the person isn't getting harassed or they're not getting bullied or trolled. So, also, a group of moderators actually helps too, because in the long run, if you have moderators, the situation can be taken out of the chat rather quickly, and the person doesn't have to deal with that situation. And I had quite a bit of things set up, and I think I have Nightbot set up, which I had explained before, that Nightbot actually helps out quite a bit. And I set it up to the point to where I literally actually set it up to the point to where it actually can take out spam messages, hold them for review, etc. So the moderators can review those messages, and if I get the green light to go ahead to decline those messages, I can also do that. So the trolls are just boring old, should I say, boring trolls that don't really have a life. And if I can say something that, you know, during live streams, and should I say, during most live streams, the show is pretty much okay. A lot of people are there to tune into the show for the fun of it, and you know, the show moves on like normal, etc. And the moment that a troll does come in, their messages are held for review. The moderator has to look at that message, and if they feel that that person is kicked out, they're removed from the chat and banned. So I always have messages that are held for review, moderator-wise, etc. So just to let you guys know that a lot of the show of what you see, and if a message gets held for review during the during the process of the show, you guys will not see it, because it's only for us moderators to see, and only we get to decide that that final decision is made. Once we review the messages that Nightbot and AutoMod has held, that person gets kicked out of the chat. They're banned pretty much from the channel for life, so that person won't be coming back. And I've banned quite a few people already. And it's only very rarely that my moderators do ban people. 99% of the time, when you're a viewer watching the show, I would have to say that you're not going to see the message that person's messages have been removed from chat. You're not going to see that. So pretty much they're held for review, and I can give you like a good representation of that in such a way. So, alright, so I'm going to pick up the phone here. Alright, so here's my channel. So we've had a couple of run-ins with trolls, and they get banned, and you know, to tell you the truth, they're not smart enough. They're not smart enough to get past the auto mod and not Nightbot settings. They're really not very smart. And from time and time again, they just can't get past that. Every message does get held for review. So it's not going to show up on the chat logs because I have to go into Nightbot to view the chat logs. But, you know, okay, a normal user get a timeout because sometimes they will use caps. But if, let's just say I can go into the chat logs and, you know, of course I'm not going to see anything because the fact that those messages have actually been, should I say, muted and taken out of there. But all of this is actually logged, and I could send all this to the Twitch staff member, and they would probably be like, oh yeah, you're getting trolled and harassed, etc. But, you know, certain messages only get held for review. But this is pretty much the chat as it is on any given night, because I mean, you know, right here is where the user probably spammed, and then one of my moderators says got him, and then, you know, these messages never pass. And the reason why they never pass through is because, for one, I got settings, and number two, I have the chat locked down pretty tight, because a lot of the times the chat is going to be locked down pretty tight, and people have to realize that trolling and harassing a person isn't really the best way to go, isn't the best way to do things. And I have actually said this a number of times, that when I move to Twitch, I'm going to have more settings and more ways to do things, because the fact that I have all the tools to make it work. You know? So these trolls are being kicked out left and right because, why? Because I have better moderation, better tools to do things? You go to other sites like iVlog, maybe CamUp, or any other site, you're on your own for moderation. You come to a site that can have auto mod and all these different settings that can actually prevent the trolls from taking advantage of the chat. You know, I don't like to have, you know, trolling every week. And the reason for that is, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. You know, I love doing my show. I love entertaining people, you know, and it's one of the things that I like to do. And, you know, people will love or hate the show. Hey, if they hate the show, that's pretty much on them. I'm not going to, like, debate someone on their opinion. You know, if someone likes the show, then that's good too, you know? But to come into my chat room and troll, that person's got another thing coming. That person really don't know how to follow the rules. And when, you know, I do a show on a week-to-week basis, I do have rules. And those set of rules pop up whenever a person pops in for the first time. After that,
they have to abide by those rules. And I'm pretty much going to say that if you don't follow the rules, then you shouldn't really be in my chat. Simple as that, you know? And I'm going to say this. When a person stops into my show, they're greeted with the rules when they first put their cursor and click for the first time. They have to follow those rules. And rules apply to everyone. Not just moderators, but myself included. You know, the caster has to follow the rules. You know, even though I set the rules, I still have to follow them to a certain degree. Just like I don't go into someone else's chat room and start shooting off my mouth and saying different words or phrases or whatever, you know, that would piss the caster off. I just don't do that. You know, when someone comes to my show, they have to show me respect as well as my moderators. So, you know, that's one of those things. You know, I do my show for the fun of it. Even though I left Stereo Dust Particles, I still have to show some sort of respect when I go to their shows. I still have to show some sort of respect when I stop into someone else's show. It's all about respect. You know, live streaming is supposed to actually be fun and enjoyable. And I do actually believe that. So, you know, what I'm saying is, these trolls think they're smart. They're not smart. They're as dumb could be. You know? If you're going to try and get past my auto mod and Nightbot system, you got another thing coming. Because you're not going to get past it. There's really no way you're going to get past it. Heck, even normal users can't get past it if they use caps and stuff like that. There's just no way. You know, I put auto mod in place, and I also put Nightbot in place to keep the peace in the chat. To keep the chat somewhat sort of moving to a certain degree. And you do not have that on other sites. You could set it up for YouTube as well. I mean, which I'm thinking about actually doing because, you know, the same rules would apply. So, if I set it up for YouTube as well, same rules would apply. And, you know, I have always said this, and I said this before. You know, trolls aren't getting smarter, they're getting dumber by the minute. And, you know, it's the same thing, different story. So, you know, I've been through it all. Heck, I don't even let it bother me very much. But yet, the trolls think they could come in and kind of, like, think they own the place, which they don't, you know. Come to my chat room, you're going to get booted either way. And, yeah. Another thing I want to bring up is, let's see here. Let's go to my channel. Another thing that I want to bring up is, let's go into Video Manager here. Alright, so another thing I want to bring up is the likes and dislikes ratio. Alright, I understand your opinion. Okay, if you don't like me, go watch something else. Alright, don't come on my videos and actually, like, downvote them, okay? It's not nice. And definitely, if I found out who you were, guess what? I'd be downvoting your videos too because you downvoted mine. Trust me. I don't like to be downvoted about every video. I do YouTube for the fun of it. I do it because I enjoy doing content. Alright? I do YouTube for the content. Now, if someone downvotes my video, and I'm sure someone's probably going to downvote this stream as well, which, hey, if you want to do it, and you're scared, do it. You know? But don't give me a hard time because I make content. You know, I make content for the fun of it. You know, I've been doing YouTube since 2008. I had my first account in 2008. I've been on YouTube for, like, ever. And look at that. What kind of sorry, sick person would downvote all my videos? What sick person would do that? Seriously, you have nothing better to do. If you're going to just sit there and, like, click the downvote button each freaking time, this is one of the reasons why I turn the likes and dislikes off. Because at least I can see it. At least I could see it when someone downvotes, okay? This is just terrible, you know, but, you know, as the channel gets popular and as, you know, certain things happen, you know, you're going to get a couple of dislikes, you know, but 4 dislikes, 2 dislikes, 2 dislikes. I think for a while, some of the people actually literally gave up on disliking, but, I mean, about every video? Seriously? These people don't have a life, do they? Seriously. You know, I make content, but I'm actually thinking about doing live videos from now on. I'm not even going to bother uploading regular content. I'm just going to go live and just, you know, they're going to dislike, people are going to dislike this after the fact. So it really doesn't matter to me anyways. So, yeah. But, you know, I pretty much make all this. So, trying to get back to the stream here. Alright, so I paused that. So there's no, there's really no dislikes at the moment. But, you know, let's see. Only it's just me here in the chat. But in all fairness, in all seriousness, I do want to cut down on the amount of dislikes that I have on my channel or my videos. Because, you know, I want to get close to, should I say, let's go here for just a second. I want to at least get close to like 400 subscribers. I would love to see that. And I would really, really love to see that. Get very close to like 400 subs. But I could do that if I have too many dislikes. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. It is what it is, but yeah. Whatever viewer that was there, the person's gone now. And there's only one watching. No dislikes so far, but yeah. So, another little update. Alright, Magic Smoke Electronics. What is happening with that? Where has it gone? Well, it's still here. Um, it hasn't gone anywhere. And, you know, there has been some speculation that the group has actually dropped out and have not been doing anything at all lately. Um, some people are on a bit of a hiatus from the group. It's not because that they just can't handle it. It's just because people have got stuff in their lives going on right now. The group is still active, however, and you can find us on Discord, which we do have a Discord, and it's right here. We're kind of active right now, but we're not really that active. But it kind of makes me wonder a little bit. But no, we're doing fine. We're doing all right. Also, for the people that tune into the show and stuff like that, I'm not moving away from Twitch anytime soon. I mean, I like Twitch. I think it's a good site. I wish more and more people would move over to Twitch because, you know, it is such a great platform and it's a lot bigger than all the other sites. And trust me, you know, I've been streaming on Twitch for, oh gosh, almost 2.5 months now since I moved to Twitch. So, you know, I've been on Twitch for quite a while, and I enjoy it. I love streaming on Twitch. It's the best thing I've ever done. And I've also met quite a few good people here as well. And, you know, it goes to show once you move to a bigger platform, you know, it's either go big or go home, you know. And I think the show has made it through the test of time. And some people would have probably thought it would fail, which would have probably been true in a certain degree. But you got to understand it this way. I really haven't failed. I haven't failed miserably. I haven't failed to a degree to where I would literally ever stop streaming. I haven't failed because other people want me to fail. I haven't failed because I really don't want to fail. And it's really hard to fail at this point right now. And I made it this far. You know, from the first show that I have done a long time ago, you know, this show has been through a lot. It's been through way more than people would probably ever think that it would have made it through. And, you know, I would actually say that, yes, the show has been through hard times. It's been through rough times. It's even been through hell and back. And I would have to say that, you know, for the people that hate the show, at least have some dignity and, you know, kind of applaud me on, you know, at least keeping the show from going under. You know, at least have some dignity and a little respect because, you know, I've worked hard to get here. I've worked hard to pretty much, you know, am doing the show that I love doing. And, you know, aside from the trolls and aside from the hate that I as a DJ get, it doesn't really matter to a certain point because they're not the ones living the actual dream. They're the ones that are watching the stream. They're the ones that are finding out what goes on
on the stream, but they don't know what goes on behind it. They don't know what goes on once the stream is off air. A lot of hard work, a lot of dedication goes into these shows. And a lot of it is what people don't realize is that I like to see all the trolls do the show. I like to see the people that hate on the show do the show. Do a similar show like this. On a site called Twitch. I would love to see that. I would love to see that. Because for the longest time, I can remember the show had a pretty good following. The show had a pretty good following back in the day. When I first started the show, I didn't have much of a following at all because I was pretty brand new at it. I didn't have much of a following. People didn't know what the show was or what the show meant. Just like some people don't know what the show is and what the show means now. I've been doing this thing since 2011. Well, maybe a little bit longer than that. I'd say about 2010-ish. It is one of those shows where if people don't like the show and they don't love the show, at least give it like a good comment anyways. You know, be like, hey, you know, I've tried, etc. You know, tried watching the show, blah, blah, blah. At least, you know, give the show its, you know, minutes of fame, if you would actually put it at that. I don't respond to the haters. I don't respond to trolls. My moderators take care of a lot of the stuff that the caster wouldn't actually normally take care of. It is the moderators that I should thank in this situation because they're put up with a lot as much as I am. They see what goes on behind the scenes. They know what the show is like behind the scenes. They know me as a person. And they know how kind-hearted and nice I am behind the scenes. You know, I am pretty different when I'm off stream. I am a very quiet person in real life. I don't get into arguments. I don't fight with anybody. Only if a person has actually done me wrong or rubbed me the wrong way. Then I am mean to them, but that's beside the point. I am generally a nice person. And people that know me in real life pretty much know that. And they pretty much see that. And when it comes to my show, and when it comes to the stuff that I do, I always have, you know, the last, should I say, word about it. But, you know, most people are going to judge. Most people are going to be like, oh, he sucks. His show sucks. You know, if you don't have nothing nice to say, you know, there's really no point in saying it. Because, you know, I do shows for the fun of it. And I love doing that. And, you know, what I'm talking to you guys about today is I'm just a normal person, you know, when I'm not doing my stream. When I'm doing my show, you know, people will judge. People will think, oh, he does his show, but what good is it to the other person or anything like that? You know, I do enjoy doing what I do, and I'm going to do what I do. And it's not because I want to do the show that I do. It's because I love doing the show that I do. And, you know, there's going to be that particular side that hate me for no particular reason. And then there's going to be that other side that love the show and will tune in again and again and again. You know, like I said, as the show gets bigger and starts to rise a little bit more, there's going to be a concept of hate. There's going to be a concept of, you know, what this person thinks of that person, etc. And does anybody like that? Probably not. You know, they'll think of a different perspective on that. And also, too, what I want to talk about is what happened between me and Chris Master 1. And I'm pretty sure people want to know about that. People want to understand what happened to me and Chris Master 1. Was it something that we couldn't work out, or was it something that, you know, he feels that we couldn't work it out? Well, we fell out of place again because, you know, because of some underlying drama, bull crap, whatever it was. Basically, it was pretty much between him and Twilight FM, but I got, you know, in the middle of it. And I also think, too, that you know, a lot of that drama could have been subsided if both parties would have, you know, kind of made up in that sense. It is something that I didn't want to get myself into. It was something that, you know, I kind of was put into. And it is something that I didn't want to, you know, call Chris out on and stuff. I didn't want to call him out on that because, you know, at that time it wasn't my time and place to even think about that. But not all drama is started by one person. When I think about, you know, the past events from last year, I think about what could have happened if people, you know, solved their differences and made up for their differences. You know, could it have been resolved to a point to where, you know, everybody can, you know, come together again, etc. But in all reality, I pretty much had my own thing. I pretty much had, you know, established a lot of what I wanted to establish. But I was very close in reestablishing the friendship between me and Chris Master 1. It wasn't because we hated each other. That's really not the point. What it all came down to was the friendship side of things. As long as we didn't have shows involved with that, as long as we didn't have all that involved from the get-go, something in a way has to mess something up. You know, it's the saying goes, you know, it's the saying goes, if something gets messed up, I mean, really, if something gets messed up, it's really not that person's fault. Now, I called Chris out on a YouTube video a while back, and it is something that I shouldn't have done, and I am actually correcting my faults here, because there's something that I shouldn't have done that I should have kind of stayed out of. Knowing what I know now and learning from it, does it make that situation go away? No, it doesn't. There has to be two people that have to live with that for the rest of their lives. They have to live with that, knowing that friendship almost came back, but was damaged again by recent events. I was this close to getting things back on track. And the reason why I don't want to get into too much detail is because for the type of drama that it was at the time, it shouldn't have been my time or my place to get involved at all. You know, people can learn from their mistakes. I definitely have learned that, you know, friendship is worth more than the drama aspect itself. But when that gets in the way, it can be a pain in the butt. And I do realize that. And, you know, I'm actually kind of serious on this, because I pretty much ruined something that was doing very well until that recent drama destroyed it. And if Chris Master 1 is watching this, and I do hope he is watching this, and, you know, eventually he probably will be watching this, but I'm going to say to Chris Master 1 that I do apologize. I really do apologize. Because, for one, I should not have called you out on YouTube at that point in time, because it wasn't right. It wasn't my place to do that. You know, it really wasn't my place to do that. And I know I'm eating my words here, and I know I can admit that when I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And I also was wrong about stereo dust particles as well. I also was wrong about that, because your guys' shows are doing very well. They're doing very well, and sometimes it's hard to accept that. Sometimes it's really hard to accept it. And I have to kind of accept it. I have to kind of move on from that. And, you know, I apologize. I really do apologize. And, you know, this being publicly goes to show that there isn't any hard feelings at all. And I mean, there isn't any hard feelings. And I can say this, that there is no hard feelings, because for the past couple of months after that, I've been focused and working on a lot of stuff. And one of those is making the show better, and another one of those was taking the show to Twitch, which has actually worked out. Why? Because, you know, I took what I've learned from stereo dust particles and I kind of sculpted it. Kind of sculpted it into something different. Those guys were my viewers for the longest time. And did I appreciate a lot of the viewership that they have given me over the years? In a way, yes, I have appreciated it. I wouldn't be anywhere today without any of that. I wouldn't be here today if I hadn't had an ounce of dignity like I have right now to come out and apologize and admitting when I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Just like with that scheduling conflict in the forums. I admit I was wrong to a certain degree. You know, if, you know, Jacob would have let me know ahead of time, I don't know, like, let's just say Sunday when we all were in the Skype call together, I would have been like, okay, you can go on and do your thing. I wouldn't have had an ounce of a problem with that. But the only problem that I did have was the fact that that post was made last minute, and while I was thinking about doing my post didn't matter much because of the other person's post. We all could have worked things out together, but in the end it got pretty bad. You know, I can admit that I stormed out of the forums like rather quickly. I was pissed to the point, and I was pretty much kind of like what I felt, and I'm going to tell you guys right now what I felt betrayed. I felt betrayed that my show didn't matter much. Everyone else's pretty much mattered to them. Right up till the end, I was feeling that nothing that I would have done would have mattered much to them. And I pretty much worked my butt off for my show. You know, doing like every Fridays, event shows. I've done countless of live pre-shows, and none of that was ever taken into account or even respected to a certain degree. I felt like at the time that everyone was just ganging up on me, and I really didn't take the time out to think, oh, am I ever thanked for everything that I've ever done? Like live pre-shows, event shows, and even my normal shows? I don't think that I was ever respected enough. What I was feeling, and I didn't want to tell UXW Bill this, what I was feeling was kind of a resistance from the group and myself. I felt that I was being outvoted every time. I felt like, nothing mattered. But you know what? When it all came down to actually wanting my own show back and wanting to kind of take a stand to do things on my own, it all started to click. It all started to come together, like right out of doing that. A few weeks after I left Stereo Dust Particles, and they probably didn't know this at the time, I was preparing an event for 2018. I was prepping for an event for 2018. Now, you guys might not notice, or you guys might not have known this, that the very first All-Star show was August 18th, 2012. This year would mark that anniversary of that particular show. And when I left, I didn't tell them that I was going to plan an all-star show that would have brought most of the original group back together and would have had some of the new people as well. I was in the process of planning this before I left SDP, and they didn't know it. They really didn't know it, that I was planning something big. And that something big would probably almost never happen, because people can't put their differences aside. They can't put differences aside because they don't see the negative effect that future events would have had. This event that I was planning was the full circle event of SDP. This was the full circle event that if we all were still together, we would have had a full circle event. We would have made it full circle. But seeing that people can't put their differences aside with me, I'm having to put this event on hold. I don't want to put this event on hold. I'd rather see it progress. I'd rather see it take shape. I would rather see it, move forward. But it would have to take a lot to do so. I can't have SDP members mad at me because I created the first All-Star show for their group. I created what would be the wave of events that would happen. I was the main creator. I was the main backbone. I was almost like the idea maker of every event that I ever did. And I saw those events. Even ones that Chris Master 1 has done. I oversaw them. Because, for one, it was passing down the torch. And I thought I would trust Chris Master 1 with that. And I thought I would trust everyone with that. which trust was a very hard thing to do. It still is a very hard thing. I want to put my differences aside because I feel that if an event like this on such a big scale ever took place, to where everyone can have their differences pushed aside for maybe one event, which means I would be unblocked from everyone's channels except for two of the other channels, which I'm not blocked anyways. But I would really like to have one thing good happen this year, and I would like to have just maybe one good thing. And it's going to take everyone to actually agree and do it. See, a long time ago, when the first All-Star show was done, I didn't know how to plan an All-Star show. I didn't know how to plan it because it was kind of new to me. It was very, very new to me. I was the person to take on this task. I was always the person to take on the task. And in 2013, I was going through a hard time. So I asked Chris Master 1 to take those reins. And when I got back, I would take the reins back under that certain thing. So the first year, the first show of the All-Star show, I had no idea what I was doing. I really had no idea that I was doing. And nobody else had no idea what they were doing. But all I know is when everyone came together, all that drama was out the window. All that drama went away. In the later years, it was easy. It was very easy. You set up an all-star show. People are on their best behavior. Behind the scenes, it might have been quite different. People would probably be bickering at each other. And I'm pretty sure that, during that time, in between 2015 and 2016, I'm pretty sure it was very shaky. Right up until the end of my existence in Stereo Dust Particles, the very last All-Star show, the very last one that I planned, was the best one that I have ever planned. The reason why it was the best one that I have ever planned was that was my exit. That was the one that, after that, I was leaving Stereo Dust Particles. And I was going to leave either way. And I didn't want to tell anybody. The very last All-Star show that I had planned, after that, Chris Master 1 would take the reins permanently. But what they didn't know, and I think I only told Chris Master 1 this, what they didn't know was I was in the process of planning the bigger All-Star show, the biggest one, which was the milestone and full circle All-Star Show. That one was and is, or was supposed to take place this year. This was the year that it all comes full circle. Why? Because this would have been the anniversary that marked the very first All-Star Show that I have planned. This is the year that actually means a lot to me. This is the year that, yes, I'm putting all things aside. You know, differences with, you know, certain SDP members, I would have put all of that aside to do this. And it would have made a lot of sense to do so. And I would actually say that if it could be done, it could be done. But if it cannot be done, then this year would mean anything. It would not mean a whole lot. This would be the year. Okay, 8/18/18 is the anniversary of the very first All-Star Show. Of the original lineup, the way it was back in the day. I had plans to kind of recreate the actual lineup for that All-Star Show. I had plans. Now, it may not mean much to you guys at all, but I had plans to kind of recreate that. And for future generations to see it the way it was back in the day. But it's almost like that would never happen because of everyone's differences and, you know, that person hates me, that person hates me, that person hates me, etc. SDP and their event shows wouldn't be anywhere today if it wasn't for me. If it wasn't for me to get things started, they wouldn't be anywhere on their certain type of level as they are today. Because we all made it work. You know, from the first All-Star Show to the second one, third and fourth, and up till the last one that I did. We all did it together because it was the right thing to do. We all had fun. You know, and I, you know, understand and realize a lot of the fun like 2 years later. So when you think about it, when the original anniversary comes up for the All-Star Show, are people going to expect the All-Star Show to take place again? I would have to say, if people drop their differences and agree to do this All-Star Show, I'll set it up. I'll do it. Set up everyone's stuff. go through the process of actually, getting their streaming stuff set up and etc. Because people would love to see this. If they haven't seen the original All-Star show, when it first started and when it first took place, it was a lot of fun. We had people like UXW Bill, Weasel, myself. We had a new member called Windows Machine. We had CompWiz 878. DJ Dave Thunder was supposed to be on the roster, but backed out due to computer issues. Behind the scenes, I was going nuts because I didn't know how to set up an all-star show. I didn't know how to set up one because I obviously didn't know how to set one up. But with a little trial and error, it pretty much went off without a hitch. And Weasel was the first show. Weasel 2 HTM was the first show that I can remember. So, is anyone ever going to see kind of a reunion type of all-star show? Possibly, if people actually set aside their differences, set aside their, set aside whatever beef they have with me for, I don't know, maybe a day or so. We all could have fun. We all could, really have fun with it. It would be like old times again. It would be like I never left, in a way. See, people can have disagreements. Band members have disagreements. Group members have disagreements. Some band members will hate each other. Some group members will hate each other. But in the end, if it's good entertainment and people enjoy it, it is worth getting back together for it. I would see it's worth getting back together for it. And some people would probably agree with that. And I would pretty much have fun with that, to be honest. I would would love to have fun with that. But it's people that got to set aside their differences just to move forward with it. And like I said, I'll plan it. I'll set it up. I'll put it together. And if they enjoy it, then it's always worth another shot. Now, I'm not saying that I would rejoin Stereo Dust Particles. What I'm saying is, if it's good entertainment and people love it and they enjoy it, someone enjoys and loves planning these things, why not go for it? But first, people have got to get in contact with me, which means they got to unblock me. They got to, want to get in contact with me, because this would be very beneficial. Not only to me, but to Stereo Dust Particles and the history that they have. I fit part of their history. I fit that history. I've been around longer than, let's just say, Chris Master 1. I'm saying this SDP wise. I've been around longer than Chris, and I know how to plan these things. I know the ins and outs of it. I would not put this in his hands. Oh no, I would not put this in his hands. This would be put in my hands for a reason if this were to happen. It would fall into my lap for a reason. Because for one, I have a history with stereo dust particles. Chris doesn't have much of a history with them. I've had a lot more of a history with them since 2012. And I really know the ins and outs of doing an event show, such on a scale that they're trying to compare even today. See, when you lose a key factor, I was the key factor. When they lose the key factor that had a vision for these event shows, you lose that vision. I wasn't just in there for the event shows. I was also there to scout for talent. I was also the person that, okay, we're gonna make this a thing. When a person joins us for an all-star show, they're not only in the all-star show, they're actually trying out for something. This gives them motivation to do shows. It was also the same for Kirby Crazy, because he had the motivation to do shows. What type of motivation was it? Oh, join the DJ Aaron Radio All-Star Show. That type of show was motivation. And people loved it, people enjoyed it. For the very reason. It's entertainment. People loved it. I'm not saying the stuff that they do now is enjoyable entertainment. I mean, it's enjoyable to a degree. But when you lose that key factor in doing event shows and has a background in doing event shows, then you're losing, you're pretty much losing the pace and enjoyment out of it. I was the person that pretty much oversaw each event show. Whether or not it was planned by me, I still oversaw everything. I didn't care if anybody else planned it, but as long as they planned it, they better include me in it. Because I was that type of person. I enjoyed getting involved. I got involved for a reason. When I first joined Stereo Dust Particles, I got involved. It may have not have been by luck, but by accident. You know, Weasel and UXW Bill tuned into my shows. They're the ones who found me by accident. They're the ones who brought me into Stereo Dust Particles. They wanted to see what my show can do. And then later, I was like, you know what? We should have an all-star show. We should do this for the fans. We should do this for the people. When I left, a big chunk of that history of SDP kind of broke off because, you know, they're losing. Here's the thing. The type of event shows that are done now, they don't have any enjoyable out of it. It's just something that is slapped together and it isn't too thought about. When I do event shows, I look at the idea of it, yeah, they get done with the planning very late and last minute. But you got to understand this. When I envision a show, I envision it with whatever comes into mind. Now, the other members may envision it as, okay, we're going to jump to it, and we're going to just do it. But they don't take into consideration that it takes not only months in the planning, but it also takes years of planning. It takes enough planning to where if I'm happy with it, the rest of the members will be happy with it. And every All-Star show was the same way. If I'm not happy with it, I'm going to look at whatever's wrong and I'm going to fix it. Someone pops in last minute, I'm going to fix that schedule. Even though everything got done last minute, it got done. It got done in a way because, for one, it's for the fans. Number two, it's one of those things that I enjoy doing. And I really don't care how they do it. But when I was in SDP, things went smoothly. Things got done. And, you know, to have this anniversary thing in my mind, and I know the exact date too, is, you know, something that I'd probably never think people would ever experience. Like I said, people have got to put aside their differences, and I'm sure they'll be watching this and they'll be like, oh yeah, we need to put aside our differences so we can do this thing. Even if it's just, you know, even if it's painful for them to do it. You know, if the Beatles got back together, you know, I'm comparing Stereo Dust Particles to the Beatles. Even if the Beatles got back together for the first time, yeah, it's going to be painful for them because they'd broken up. You know, I've broken up from the Stereo Dust Particles group. And of course it's going to be painful to me. But you know what? When it comes down to actually doing the show and everybody opening up to the idea, okay, let's do this for the fans. Let's do this for what it is worth. Set aside differences, set aside egos, set aside who hates who, and just do it. I would love it. I would love to see Stereo Dust Particles get some sort of, you know, recognition for putting aside whatever issue they have with me. Just go ahead and do this. Because I'm easy to work with in the end. And I know how these things go. I don't hold grudges against people. That's not my thing. I don't hold grudges against Chris. I don't hold grudges against that person or that person. I'm not that kind of person. What I want to see is people coming together, having some sort of fun. Maybe let their guard down a little bit and see what happens and enjoy. You know, we've all made mistakes. We all done stupid shit. But at the end of the day, If it's for the fans, it's for the fans. You know, I'm saying this because, you know, this is the year. This is the full circle year. This is the milestone. And if people don't get to see it, they're not going to know what SDP was like. They're not going to know who actually helped them with the event shows. You know, this is for future generations. This is for anybody who wants to join it. You know, and for people that are already in it. You know, I did it for the fun of it. I enjoyed doing these all-star shows, and I sure as heck would love to see it happen again. Whether or not I'm in Magic Smoke Electronics or not, or SDP for that matter, I would love to actually set up a show for them, because at the end of the day, again, for one, it's all about the fans, and two, people enjoy it. People have fun with it. I mean, let's put aside the bull crap. Let's just put aside all that. You know, I done wrong, you guys done wrong as well. But being mad at one another isn't going to solve that. And it definitely isn't going to solve if we're all mad at each other for a long time or holding a grudge against each other for a long time. It isn't about that. What it is about, it's about the people that tune in, which we've lost half of our fan base after I wasn't doing all-star shows anymore, and after I left SDP. There has been a shift in fan base since then. And I would like to see that all come back together at some point. Out of all the drama and bullcrap that has actually ever went on, that was small compared to what happened when I left. And it was all because of schedules. It was all because Jacob couldn't decide, or I couldn't decide what to do, especially on a Labor Day. Especially on a Monday, where we could have decided Sunday night what we were going to do. Like, okay, yeah, I'll go live after you, Jacob, or whatever. It could have been up to us that, you know, hey, Joshua. Anyways, it could have been up to us to make that decision. Now, I'm pretty sure other people would love to see a full-scale all-star show. But it's less likely to happen. But, anyways, that's enough of my rambling on that. But, anyways, let's, how long have I been, oh, geez, I've probably been doing this for a total hour. Oh, I got low battery. Whoops. iPhone's battery is low now. I guess I better wrap this stream up because the iPhone battery is low. And yeah, I've been talking for about a half hour or so. The thing about the battery is if I'm streaming, I gotta put this thing on the charger. So anyways, I'm going to stop this stream. And I'll probably stream again tomorrow. I don't know yet, but, you know, I've rambled on for far too long, and the iPhone battery is dead, so, anyways, see you guys later, and, Hopefully I'll be live again tomorrow if the iPhone doesn't die. So anyways, we'll see you guys later. And, oh, I do got a little bit of announcement. Double Shot Tuesday is coming up. I believe Tuesday at 4 p.m. Then I have the BG Radio Network on U Live, which will be Wednesday at 3 p.m. Friday Night Flagship Show will be at its normal time on Twitch. So if you're not doing anything, stop on by, and hopefully I'll see you guys there. So there's my Twitch channel if you guys are wondering. Make sure to stop on by. And Saturday, the 17th, is going to be the St. Patrick's Day show. So if you guys are wondering what's going to happen, watch this. Yes, the lights will be green. And this is trying to get back into focus. So yes, the lights will be green the entire show. So anyways, that's going to be it. Peace out. Practice and enjoy. And we'll see you guys in the next live stream.